When the alarms rang out, signaling a breach, I followed the protocol and ran straight for the cryopods. I was the first to arrive and claimed the first pod I saw, climbing inside and activating the sequence that would preserve me until the facility had been cleaned and was ready for human population. But as I laid there, my body growing numb, my mind stayed awake. The designers had foreseen this possibility, of course, and built in safeguards to ensure no pod would keep its person imprisoned. I'd been told that for some people it could take a few minutes to lose consciousness, so the pods were built to reverse the process after 5 in case it was a problem with the pod itself. I'd been preserved on several occasions, and never had it taken more than a few seconds before it was gone, which meant I likely needed a new pod. But I wouldn't get that chance. As I watched out the glass front of the pod, I could see the time displayed on the monitor of the pod across from me. The people who had come in within a minute of me were all safely stored away. The few after that had come stumbling in, coughing and hacking, the black and purple lines running down their veins telling me the infection had already started to set in. The first 2 of the infected managed to climb into the pods, no doubt hoping if they could freeze their bodies a cure may be found by the time they were rescued. More likely they would spring forth years later and begin a new infection cycle. The ones who came in after them weren't lucky enough to make it to a pod. At roughly minute 3, I watched as the first of the infected fall to his knees, then to his side, his eyes clenched shut and his mouth opening in a scream I couldn't hear. As I watched his limbs begin to bend and twist, his arms elongated, his hands turned into claws, and his mouth lengthened and separated into serrated mandibles. 3 others fell in as his change was completing, the women and men screaming in agony as their bodies were ripped apart and reassembled by the virus. Soon after, my pod alerted me that the cryogenic process was reversing, slowly returning the feeling of my limbs before the door would open and allowing me to find a working pod. The reversal was sluggish and my arms and legs felt heavy as the pod door began to open, the sound and movement attracting the attention of the 4 changing monstrosities in front of me. I stumbled out, trying to make it to the empty pod across from me with uncooperative limbs. I tripped over my drugged feet as the first infected stood,